Curtis Broderick, the most important person. The most important person, Curtis Broderick.
I have the privilege today of telling you about a very special person. This person, perhaps, is the most important person in this room today. Where's he sitting? Is that him in the back there? Is that you? Yeah, just move over so I can see behind you. No, it's not him. Where is this most important person? Why, it's me! I'm the most important person in this room. I'm talking, you're looking at me, you're listening to me. You don't see anybody else behind me. I must be the most important person in this room. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Mr. Contest Master. It doesn't actually work like this. But in fact, it's a very interesting question that once you analyze it, you come to a basic human truth. That truth is this, that no matter what we see, no matter what we do, no matter what we hold as valuable, it's based on what's in my self-interest. It's all about the me. It was 2002. I was in Paris. I was unemployed. My wife was unemployed. Our 4 kids were unemployed. I was part of the Toastmasters of Paris Club, and I was working on the advanced manual speeches for managers, thinking, if I could speak like a manager, then I could get a job like a manager. So I had the Toastmaster of the evening tell everybody for my first speech that they were to pretend that they were in a business meeting and I was the manager, and that's how I gave my speech. And then I had my second speech. Same thing again, Curtis manager, and they're the meeting. And then I gave my third Curtis manager speech. And that's when I received what was perhaps the most important evaluation I've ever received. An older gentleman by the name of Frank Thorogood wrote in my manual, Curtis, you keep giving the same speeches about yourself. Talk about something more interesting. I didn't like that kind of evaluation, but that day there was a kind person who told me the words that I needed to hear. Who's the most important person in the room? I was beginning to learn. Let me tell you about little Stevie Morris. Now, this was an unfortunate boy. He was born into a poor family. The father was never there, and worst of all, he was born blind. However, one day in his classroom, his teacher came up to him. She said, you know, there's a little mouse that's lost in our room, and I cannot find that mouse, but you have such good ears, I know that you can hear everything that happens. Can you find that mouse? Oh yes, Miss Willow, I can find that mouse. I will find it for you. That day, somebody made him feel special. And for the first time in his life, he felt like he was the most important person in the room. He can tell you about it. You know him by his stage name, Stevie Wonder. And he'll tell you about the transformative power when you feel special. Listen, friends, when you talk to somebody, give them all of your attention because they are the most important person in the room. Take that damn telephone of yours, shut it off, and put it in your pocket. I don't care if it starts vibrating until your leg falls off. Don't answer it. When you meet somebody, remember their name the first time you meet them. Alfred Adler, an early 20th century psychologist from Vienna, once wrote, "It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow man who has the greatest difficulties in life and who provides the greatest injury to others. Work hard on finding something interesting in the other person." This has been shown in history, and it's beautiful when it happens. Let's go back to the early 1900s, Oyster Bay, Long Island, New York. There's a beautiful estate atop of a hill, on a rolling hill, and below, just a little bit below, a little white cottage. And in this cottage live Annie and James. James was the personal valet for this estate owner. He was speaking to James's wife, Annie, one day. "Annie, you must see the bobwhite quail. Oh, he's such a beautiful little bird with his ivory white and golden tail feathers. Oh, and that little black beak, he's just such a princely little bird. You must see him." Well, Annie loved birds. She loved watching them fly, listening to their melodic calls in the morning. She wanted to see that bird. A few days later, she received a phone call. Annie, rush quickly to your back window. If you look up towards the house, you should be able to see the bobwhite quail right next to the stone wall." Now tell me, what boss is going to call up his valet's wife just to tell her about a bird? I'll tell you who it was. It was somebody who was genuinely interested in other people. And I am sure that it was that interest in other people that made Theodore Roosevelt such an extremely popular president. The next time you think about, or you're tempted to talk about yourself, what you're interested in, or how important you are, I want you to think about that selfless leader. The takeaway of this all is this. The human heart, more than anything else, yearns to feel special. If you can develop in yourself a sincere interest in other people, you'll have more friends and better relationships than you ever imagined. People will want to be around you because you remembered their name. You shut off your telephone. You stayed just a little bit longer to listen to what they had to say. Oh, how we love to say I this, I that, I. But let me tell you, beautiful things will happen to you when you see the other individual as the most important person in the room.